three, sharing old stories, just them and me. The world's fast asleep, but we're wide awake, sipping on coffee, no plans to break. Time fades away as the night drifts on, lost in the laughter, the dark nearly gone. No need for answers, no reason why, just two souls awake beneath the sky. No rush, just stars and soft street lights, starting or ending, it feels just right. Up late with a friend, the world's at rest, these quiet chats, yeah, they're the best. So here's to late nights, the quiet and deep, with a friend by your side when you should be asleep. In the calm of the night, life feels bright, ending or starting, we're feeling just right. Time fades away as the night drifts on, lost in the laughter, the dark nearly gone. No need for answers, no reason why, just two souls awake beneath the sky. No rush, just stars and soft street lights, starting or ending, it feels just right. Up late with a friend, the world's at rest, these quiet chats, yeah, they're the best. No rush, just stars and soft street lights, starting or ending, it feels just right. Up late with a friend, the world's at rest, these quiet chats, yeah, they're the best. These quiet chats, yeah, they're the best, yeah, they're the best. These quiet chats, yeah, they're the best, the quiet and deep best.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whoever you are, and whatever you might be. And welcome to this early, late night, late day stream. I had planned to do my normal 5 a.m. late night stream today, but then as I'm 27 years old and men my age wake up in the middle of the night, and I saw that Bev had, I think she switched from White Claw to Four Loko, so she has again filed a response very quickly to the motion to grant the defense expenses for the data expert who went and looked and found out that nothing has been preserved. Maybe. Could be it's on an iCloud somewhere between all the grandkids' Bluey movies and the latest Taylor Swift album. No one really knows if the evidence still exists. Could be it just disappeared. But again, this is America. America is, when I see America, I see the leader of the Western world. I see the technological powerhouse, what Reagan called the shining city on the hill. Because even though you all feel, oh, it's going so crappy-tastic, you're still way better than we are in Europe. Yeah, but we've seen the pictures and you have castles. Castles make no technology. America makes technology. And America can make, can I find, where the hell did I put that? Well, we have something in Europe called hard disks. Stick with me, it's revolutionary. I have it inside my computer. I have a hard disk. I have multiple hard disks. But you can take these hard disks and you can make them really big and you can put them in a server room. And then you can put it in there and then you can say, okay, this is the stuff that we have to save. This is crucial evidence. Let's put it in a police server room. So when Johnny, who normally, maybe sometimes he would download something from a case and Sometimes he was downloading the greatest movie ever made, The Barbarians. It's kind of like, that VHS tape. I'm too young to know VHS tapes. But you remember that VHS tape your dad had of when the Bills played the Cowboys, I believe, in the Super Bowl, and the Bills lost, as they always do, but they were close this time. And in the middle, your mom had taped it over because she was watching that Nancy Drew show and thought it was so great. So she taped it over right when there was that great touchdown pass. You don't do that with evidence. Evidence you put on a hard disk in a server room, so you can always say, okay, that cold case we had 10 years ago where we saved all the surveillance video because we had a partial face that could be very important for the case. Let's go back and pick it up. No. We keep it in an iCloud account now. Everything is in the cloud. Come on now. It's just evidence in a criminal case. Come on now. This is a police officer killed. Who have ever heard about the police doing extra when it's a police officer? Yeah, I know. I've absolutely cray. No, I'm 27 years old. I just turned 27 in January. I'm not sleep streaming. My grandma recorded every single movie they played on HBO back in the day. She had hundreds of VHS. Yeah. I am actually 27 years old, yes. And they liked the tapes you used to save the games you had to write out on Code Commodore. Yeah, remember when you had to, it's 125 is Yi Are Kung Fu, press play on tape. No, hello everyone. Helen, get to bed. It's almost 2 a.m. The reason why I spurk out as I do is because I'm losing my mind over the Canton PD. My daughters are 21 and 23 years old. I don't know what you're talking about. The reason why I'm saying all these stupid stuff is because this is absolutely horrendous. We just had the 3-year anniversary from a Boston police officer passing away, and last week they turned over new evidence after we had the first case, and we learned today that they don't even know what evidence they do have. And Bev then rules, after hearing and reviewing of the pleadings, the court credits the affidavit of Special Prosecutor Hank Brennan, paragraph 6. Attorney Jackson expressed concern that the material may no longer exist on the NVR given the time that has passed since the event. I agreed with him and told him that I have no knowledge whether the material still existed or were overwritten given the passage of time. You probably should know that. In light of the averment, I think that's how you say it. It's another fancy word for saying acknowledgement of ADA Brennan, and in light of Attorney Jackson's acknowledgement during the hearing that he and ADA Brennan discussed his concerns regarding the likelihood of the video still existing, the motion to recover cost is denied. Further, though, and this is the part that made me want to do this show, because all of this up here, that's I think Jackson kind of dug his own grave by acknowledging they had talks about it, and that gave her the out because, well, you knew it, so you didn't have to send people. But then we have this part down here. And I'm not a lawyer. We talked about it in the brain trust. Further, though, Attorney Jackson argued for sanctions for an alleged violation of Mass 14. There is nothing in the written pleading raising this argument, and the issue is therefore not currently before the court. This is the part about sanctions for not preserving the evidence. And with her mentioning it in this motion, I have that natural inclination that I would be probably writing the Rule 14 motion to have sanctions, because I don't know how you feel, but I feel like Bev isn't as enamored with Brennan as she was with Lally. I have a feeling that his slick big city lawyer thing isn't working. I think that's why she hates Alan Jackson. And I think Brennan has exactly the same attitude with, not that Alan Jackson has an attitude of being a big city lawyer or anything, but Bev sees him as, oh, he's one of those fancy guys from California. And then you have Brennan walking in there with his history, and he's a former defense lawyer who jumps on board, makes $75K. I have a feeling that Bev doesn't like him. And with that in a motion that has nothing to do with it, the Rule 14, I see it as fertile ground to write that motion. There could potentially be a possibility that she would impose some kind of sanctions on the Commonwealth. She's inviting them to file, and that she'll grant it that way. Yeah, that's how I read it as well. But Jess also said she also gave them a deadline today for Friday next week is when they have to have their motion to dismiss. And they are probably swamped right now. We were given a lot of new discovery again today from the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth missed their deadline again. They were supposed to have disclosed all their evidence yesterday. They didn't. And but Bev let it slide. She's always pressing the state or the defense. Come on, keep your time. And I know she is the time management in the case, but she's never ever, and she didn't do it with Lally either. It's not just because she wants the April 1st time. She did it with every hearing pre-trial for the first trial. Lally came in, gave her a bogus deadline, crossed that deadline, gave her a new bogus deadline, crossed it, bingo, bango. She's never, ever imposed any deadlines on the Commonwealth. So, again, it's potentially nothing, but it is also kind of showing a bias, in my opinion. I look sleepy. I am super fresh. You should have seen me 2 days ago when I haven't slept for 2 days and had bags the size of carry-on bags under my eyes. I am up and doing. Well, my pleasure, Kim. It's yeah. Yeah, if they could get this, at least sanctions on it, it would be again something that could further that this case is built on sand. Hey, Kestrel, been a second. Yeah, and I don't think she hates AJ. I think she hates that type of lawyer. I think she hates lawyers with success. and big cases and a name that people recognize. And that's why I think she also hates Brennan. Because even though he hasn't done nearly anything as good as AJ has, he's still a big name. Hey, Wendy H. Susan, in a case like this, if you file a motion for the judge to be excluded, the person ruling on that would be the judge. They have moved for her to step down before, and she said, "Nah, it'll be fine." That's how it is. You can take it up on appeal of a losers. So at this point, it would be more waste of time. That's how the system works. Should it be bumped automatically to someone else to look at Bev? I think so, because she's not impartial in her decision, because she will say, well, I'm unbiased. Okay, well, then you're unbiased. But that's why you can't do it. Yeah, but she has to move it along. Did she move it to? Yeah, Friday next week. Yeah, sorry. No, but again, every time he took the word, I don't know if you say that, we say that in Danish, take the word. Every time he took the word and started speaking, she interrupted him almost instantly. It's just a sign that she doesn't like him. She is, and I think it doesn't help that the Commonwealth now is stacking tons of new evidence in here. Some of the new evidence, and I don't know what this could be. I don't know if it has any meaning at all. But there's this point 12. Copy of attachments from Trooper Proctor's emails, 262 pages. I don't know. It's something that's subject to a protective order that's been filed in January. I don't know if it has. I just saw it, and because I saw Trooper Proctor's name, I thought, remember, Trooper Proctor is still employed by you, the taxpayer of Massachusetts. Because she is the one who has to tell if it's biased or not. Just trying to. I'm so far behind. Yeah, and the problem is they have to try the case within 1 year of the mistrial. So that will be June. When did it end? That was early June. So they have to get going. But can she keep that date without that ruling is the question. For if they don't file a motion, she doesn't need to rule on it. No, because what people, I think, didn't understand is that is a work matter. It's not a legal matter. It's work court. It's not criminal court. So what they did was they punted it, I believe, to the. I thought it was the 10th of February. Yeah, I think it's the 10th of February. They punted it to where they will be bringing witnesses, and he can have a representative there to protect himself. If you know Nick Starro, that's actually what he does. He's a union rep. So his field of law is union work. He's the guy who goes in and say, "Well, you didn't pay them what they are owed. No, you can't fire him because he didn't break the rules." So that's actually Nick's line of work. Is what Trooper Proctor, the process he's in the middle of right now, is work related. It's not a criminal case. It's not anything to do with the justice system. It's just like if you had been stuffing your pockets in Walmart, and you're an employee of Walmart, of course. It has nothing to do with a criminal case. On the motions you went over this morning and her rulings on the motion, would those be grounds for appeal? No. It wouldn't go anywhere. No, because you won't have public. It's the same if you're a hairdresser and you have a meeting with your boss. That's not a public thing because it's work related. It has nothing to do with anything. And there's no charges brought against Trooper Proctor. It's just, should he be a police officer or not? He shouldn't. But that's for I don't know how the agreement with the police union are. Normally, unions with public unions have some of the most ironclad contracts. Look at how many mistakes the DSF makes. And you can only fail upwards when you're a public servant. Just think about all the information that had come out about Morrissey. Think about all the shenanigans that had occurred. And then it cuts off. Yes, we are still waiting for the Supreme Court ruling. Will they be able to charge her again on count 1 or count 3? And even if they are allowed to do that, will Bev still have to have a hearing questioning the jurors? If the SJC comes back, is that the name? I think it's the name. Come back and says she has to have a hearing with the jurors, it's going to be a whole heck of a lot more hectic. Because again, we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We are 7 weeks away from trial starting. They have their motion to dismiss the trial. That's the next 4 weeks for filing, responding, and her to come out with an answer. So if you take those 4 weeks out, if you have to have a hearing with the jurors, you have pre-trial motions, you have discovery. As I understood on the defense team today, they probably wanted some Daubert hearings on some of the expert witnesses, but they had to go home and look at what was turned over by not Proctor, by Brennan yesterday, because again, he dumps a whole heck of a lot of new information on them the night of. The same night he was supposed to give them all of his discovery, he just dumps a whole heck of a lot new. It looks like it's Jessica Hyde on Jen McCabe's phone, reports, copy of reports. He gives them that when he was supposed to have already finished giving them all the evidence. And who says when he goes back and look at the iCloud, they don't find 2, 3, 4, 5 videos more? That's the big problem. SJC, Massachusetts Supreme Judicial. Scott, I am so smart. I could almost be a Massachusettsian. Hey, Chris. Finally, we are streaming at your time as well. Love to see Bev's phone data. Probably won't ever be allowed to do that. Just use the funny little. Is it allegory? No. She said maybe Brennan was sold a totally different case than what he got. And maybe Lally was that kid we all hated when we had to do group work in school. You know, the one who said, "Can I borrow your notes?" Oh, I have to go to the toilet. Can you just look for the pictures that we could put in the report? Well, it's a smoke break, but can you work on while I go out smoking? I know you don't smoke. Because Lally never had anything in order. He never followed up with any of his experts. He didn't get the lab work. And I'm thinking, was it because he was stalling after I read Jess's comment? Was it because he was stalling, or was it because he was effing lazy? Did they sell Brennan on this is a shoe-in case? We have all the evidence. Everything is ready to go. Come on in. Because they couldn't show him what's in it. Because if he isn't a special DA, then he can't get into all the materials. And he probably saw the case on TV. Maybe he was foolish enough to watch it over on court TV with that horrible woman who hates Karen Reed, and thought, I'm making 75,000 and I don't have to work. They have all the discovery. They have all their experts. I just have to file a few motions. I can get the law clerks to do that from the DA's office. I'll come in and I'll be swinging my peen around on the court, and everything will be fine because I'm a Mr. Big Shot lawyer. She's a disgrace to the legal community. If you're a disgrace to that community, I'm sorry. I have great friends, MG Law, who are lawyers, but the amount of people I have seen since starting doing this, I don't understand why they have any job within the legal community. It's there's a lot of horrible people out there. Not you. You're one of the good guys. But when I have you here, MG, I have to ask you because I always check with my favorite streamer. Is this true about court?
What the outcome of a trial is determined by which side's lawyer has the biggest dick.
Is that true? Because I never seen any of them, but maybe that's what you do at sidebar. You show the lawyer and she says, well, that's clearly 2.5 inch. You win. Yeah, and was he stalling or was he just really, really, really lazy? I don't see Brennan doing anything. I actually don't see him do anything. He just stands up and lies. He lied about there being no preservation order. He lies about bits, bytes. He doesn't understand what he is presenting. So I don't see him as a lapdog. I see him as a hired gun shooting blanks. I just want to go to the... Of course you do. Oh. How could Brennan be in any way confused on how messed up this case is? You think he looked into it before agreeing to take it on? Well, Crystal, you and I are kind of on the same side. On our side, you have people like me who says, well, the ARCA guys is the one who proved it to me. No car hit John. John wasn't hit by a car. Boom. that's reasonable doubt, get out of here. But you also have someone who will yell at me for not saying Colin did it. So he probably thought, weirdos. And then he went to Court TV, because Court TV is the real streaming channel. And he watched that lady that I don't know her name. I don't want to say it. And she was sitting there with all her witnesses. She was saying, well, she's clearly guilty. And he thought, well, this is an easy payday. Easy paydays are good paydays. No, he lost. I had heard that he was there for the first trial, just sitting behind the prosecutors. No. Right behind the prosecutors, you had the defense team. Brennan said he didn't. Now he says he have seen it. MG is a G. The funny thing, Massachusetts Judicial Rule 27A already exists, a rule where Massachusetts judges can query juries in multiple count cases as to whether or not they were unanimous on any of the other counts when hung. Interesting. Me? Yeah, I did an early night show tonight. Oh, Plevin. Oh, I thought it was me you had a problem with. Plevin is a peen, and he looks like a human thumb. He has a very big interest in peens. But I just love that he never ever touched upon a fact in this case. He just makes up a new story. Now Karen Reed's brother was fired because of something. And when people said, that's not true, well, I never said it was true. I said it was something I heard. No, you clearly said that he was fired. No. Not correctly. Brennan hangs with attorney Joe Krosky Sr., Jill Daniels' lawyer, just for one example. Hank is connected to Meatball Morrissey and the McAlberts. See, that's all of the stuff, because you're local, I don't know anything about. And I'm not a dedicated Karen Reed channel, even though I am a certified grifter. So I don't have all that insight. I'll do my rounds on the twits, but there's so much misinformation going around. So most of the time I'll just say, okay, and move on. Yeah, I don't get when you are sitting in the most 70s attic ever. I grew up in houses that look like this, because this is from the 70s. And you have this wicker basket that's the same color. You have an antique table over here. You have a drab shirt that kind of looks like this. Come on, fella. You can buy a ring light. You can go into your settings on your camera just like I do, because I'm not this color. I'm more pale this time of year. You could do a little bit to just look. Well, you can't look better, because just like me, you are born with a face for newspapers and a voice for the grave. But still, it's not that hard to fix your white balance on your camera. Buy a ring light. Do something. You have more people watching you than I do. Most of them because they're laughing at you. But you should make money. He has 0 shoulders. I don't know what's wrong with him. But he has had, stage 5 cancer for 5 years. The defense needs to go to grow some balls and object a lot more to his lies. Well, you can't really object. This isn't in front of a jury. That's when the response comes in. And I thought today, and I was actually trying to see if I could lure Jess on, but apparently Jess is kind of like Cinderella, but instead of midnight, it's 6 p.m. at her house. She turns into a pumpkin. Because the way he talked to the other lawyers or about the other lawyers today, he clearly, in my opinion, implied that they were unethical. And I have gotten to know a few lawyers through this stupid channel I run. And that's one of those things that you don't do. You don't imply that they are unethical unless you have a very, 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 very strong case for it. Because your name is everything in the law world. And rumors like that is very detrimental to people. Are you getting to bed? He makes Rackets look manly. Yeah, that's a tough job. I saw Rackets in his tank top. Not a good look with those shoulders. He can't change mommy's decorations without hearing voices coming from her corpse he keeps in the closet. Nobody knows if Plevin does it just because he's crazy or because he's still casting Social Security. I was thinking, what did mommy do? Was she a German immigrant in the 40s? I still have my 4-foot speakers from the 70s, and they're still awesome. I have a buddy of mine who collects ancient hi-fi. I have a Bluetooth speaker and my phone. I'm not that into music. Yeah, so you have been in Pumpkin for 2 hours and 20 minutes. Bev, not Bev, what the mind is full of. I texted Jamie, hey, you want to come on? And she said, who that? And I wrote, the guy you stream with. And she said, oh, I don't work at these hours. And she was in the shower and said, hey, Chandler Henderson streamed from his shower. Apparently, that's not okay. Plevin needs an intervention. Plevin needs a friend. I think one of the smartest things that Tom has done is being nice to Doink, because then Doink doesn't know what to do, because Doink runs on hatred and cheap weed. And when he doesn't have the hatred, he doesn't know how to react, and then he'll start to kind of agree with you because, oh, I have a friend now. And I think if Plevin had a friend, he would be less miserable. Oh, he did, but that's because he took it all personal rather than seeing they were calling out the unethical BS that happened prior to him. That's another thing that I talked about it earlier. He seems to not understand that he is the Commonwealth. So he inherited everything, the good and the bad. So all the mistakes made, because he is now the head of the Commonwealth in this case, every mistake made in the first trial is his mistake. How they can turn over evidence so much later than the first case and still claim my ass is pure as driven snow. Again, a Danish saying. I hope it works the same way in English. It's ridiculous. This man, I don't know. I just have a very, I don't know. Lally wasn't this dishonest. Lally was lazy. He was condescending. He just came off stupid. But this guy is actively lying about people. They can't really team up because there's so much infighting between the Smurfs. Well, he doesn't have any. Yeah, my buddy just drove 4 hours to get a set of speakers from some obscure Japanese factory that only existed for 10 years in the 70s and 80s. And I thought, I have a Bluetooth speaker and Spotify. Well, I don't even have Spotify. I have YouTube Music. But you can follow me on Spotify if you're Danish, because I have a Spotify podcast that I do sometimes. Apparently, Grant smells like the really, really cheap stuff. Well, it is annoying when you're sitting here wanting to do it. It's the same when I was starting, Lawn and Crim didn't pick it up, but then you just go to Boston 25 or you go to Court TV or you go to, in the end, if you had to restream LTL or the Clara or someone, you'll make it work. That's kind of what you do as a streamer. This is why hiring defense attorneys as special prosecutors is a problem. They don't have the same mindset. We saw this screw things up in the Baldwin case. Oh, she was a special hire as well? Interesting. Hank had no obligation to take this case. Not watching the first trial before doing it is his fault, and it's on him now. Yeah, totally agree. That's why I said he is the head of the Commonwealth now. So every mistake made by the Commonwealth up until now, he is responsible for, even though he weren't there in the beginning, even though he don't know what happened with the videos. It's his responsibility because he's the special prosecutor. At this point, how can you follow me on Twitter? You can go to, what's my Twitter account again? Baker Broken. I think it's my Twitter account. My Twitter account is, Baker Broken is my Twitter account, at Baker Broken. Well, he ate a lot of pink chips when he was a kid. Anyone remember High Karate? I only seen it in movies. I've never seen it in real life. Yeah, and I'm just thinking, can he drop out now? I don't know. See you later, Rianne. Yeah, I'll be going soon as well. But I won't do my 5 a.m. stream, so you don't have to get out of bed at 4. You can follow this link, but I don't think it's shared over on Rumble. But could he abandon the case right now and say, whoopsie, I was sold a bill of bad goods? I don't know what he said. Yeah, he got his 75K, but that runs out in, I think it's only a contract till a 1-year contract. Didn't I see somewhere it ended in June? Sometime in June? Yeah, I think there was sometime in June. It runs out. But he's arrogant enough to think he can win the case. He seems very comfortable misrepresenting things so far. Yeah, but the problem, say what you want about Lally, but he had that stupid schoolboy thing I think that works with, because there's a very big difference between being a prosecutor and a defense attorney. Lally kind of came off as that stupid schoolboy. So I won't call him charming, but disarming to the jury with his 5 hairs that still stuck to his head and his 25-6 he smoked in every break. But Brennan has because as a defense lawyer, you have to believe in yourself because you are representing some of the worst scum in the universe. We are talking a Han Solo level of scum. So a lot of them comes off a little bit more as my friend Plevin says it.
What the outcome of a trial is determined by which side's lawyer has the biggest dick.
So defense lawyers, because they normally don't have the money or the power that the state have, so they have to allude to having so they have that kind of condescending kind of attitude, and that doesn't work. I don't think it works well if it's the state, because the state have the power. The state has to be the level-minded, have to be the one presenting a case. We have all the evidence. We saw it in the Colin Griffith case, where we didn't like the way the prosecutor was, because he seemed like he was too good for it or something. I think it's a really bad personality to have as a prosecutor, the way Brennan is carrying himself. He should be more, I don't know if I would say humble, but more even keel, fact related, not being a little bitch whining about the defense. To me, he just comes off as that beta, in school, who tried to be an alpha, but didn't really have what it takes to be an alpha. So he was always running around, ankle biting. He could probably argue that he was lied to, but maybe if he watched the first trial before agreeing, at least watch snippets of it, do the highlight reel. But again, if he watched it on court TV, it was a miscarriage of justice. Karen Reed was guilty. Lally was acting just for this case. He can and does act like a normal prosecutor in every other case. Even at the beginning of this case, he acted like a normal prosecutor. Yeah, but he was all. There's a reason why they are having Brennan brought on, because no one wanted to do it again. Even Lally, according to what, again, rumors, but according to what I can read out there, no one at the DA's office wanted to retry this case. That's why they had to go get a hired gun. If your lead on the first case, who now sits just at every motion hearing, he's not even asked to ask a question. He doesn't say anything. Doesn't it say something about your case? And what's the level of self-belief you have to think that, well, even though none of them wants to do it because they don't think they can win it, I can do it. He was retained in August. Sounds like it's the only thing he's working on, and he's stuck till June. 75,000 for half of what someone should be paid for this, if you ask me. Yeah. A Chihuahua that acts like a pit bull. Yeah. Anime Rumpy, great thing. Brennan is paid by the state and has been his own life. No, he used to be a defense lawyer. So he hasn't been paid by the state. He's actually been paid to fight the state. That's the rumor, but we don't know for sure if that's why he was asked. That's again, we don't know. Oh, that's exactly it. So they tried to swindle a hired outsider to do it so that they can pass the blame. I think I made that observation back when we talked about it when he came on. If it was because Lally had political ambitions and had to be saved not to lose this case twice. But at this point, I just think no one at the DA's office wanted to do it. Brandon, stay away from the sticky icky. To me, Lally sounded like he wasn't trying, but Spanky sounds like he's whining. No, this is an energy drink. I don't drink Tubo Light. I don't think you can buy it anymore. Yeah, he's still a defense attorney, but I don't think he works much. Because again, his most famous case is he lost. And apparently what the biggest ask in that case was for him to prove that his client wasn't a rat, and he was stabulated for being a rat. So he's probably not the best at this job. I don't know. Could be that the guy just isn't that good, but he's been doing it for 30 years, so he probably we just dislike him because we have been watching him for this case. He could be better in other cases. I don't know. It's one of those things where, because we don't like the team he's playing for, kind of like if you're Tom Brady, a lot of people don't like you because you're a Patriots guy. Because no one likes the Patriots. It's a team without fans. Well, watch your subscriber count go down, angering all the Patriots fans you have in your... You're such an idiot, Baker. Yeah, but I told Jamie that she should join me, but she doesn't want to do it. I know she doesn't want to do it because you say stupid stuff. I know I say stupid stuff because Jamie isn't here. What? Effective cross-examination is a skill that takes years to master for most lawyers, and some never get it. Brennan has it down stone cold. I actually think he was worse on the hearings where they tested Dr. Russell. I really think he did badly because he doesn't know the underlying facts of the matter. He's a gotcha lawyer. He just wants to catch you. And I think, again, it's because that's the defense mindset. I just need to prove reasonable doubt. No, in this case, you have to remove reasonable doubt. I think that's his problem. Yeah, well, I didn't say I was a smart person. It might be fighting words, yes. Hey, Lefty. They did a study of tens and thousands of false convictions due to egregious prosecutorial misconduct. Out of all of them, only one prosecutor was disbarred. 4% got minor sanctions. Yeah, because they have a... Well, we just had the evidence from the police, and that's what we based our case on, and the jury decided. It's not my fault. I'm just the guy putting it together. Police is the one who did the investigation. I don't go out checking DNA. If I get a DNA report saying he did it, I believe them. It's never the prosecutor's fault. Didn't you know that? We had a case I had to sit in on that's been going from... It was, I think it's 17 years old, because in Denmark, if you're doing financial crimes, there's actually no time limit on it if it's above a certain amount, like $100,000. And we were sitting through a 2.5, 3 hour presentation. The first question the prosecutor asked the defendant, stopped the trial and sent her home to look at her homework, because she had missed that at the point where they claimed the fraud happened, he had gone bankrupt. So his company was in the hands of the lawyers. He couldn't touch anything. She just missed it. It happens. So we wasted 3 hours in court. This guy have wasted 15 years, 17 years. That's a mistake. It happens. Yeah, and I think again that's the defense lawyer's mindset, because defense lawyers have to go in and destroy witnesses. The state doesn't have to do it in the same way. Yeah, if they get the defendant on the stand, which they almost never gets, they have to trash them completely. But most witnesses that are defense witnesses, maybe it's an expert, but they will normally not go as hard on them. They will just wait for rebuttal and bring their own expert back and restore their side of the claim. But a defense lawyer is always on the attack. Can I make the police officer seem less believable? Can I make the ME seem like he forgot to look under the fingernails? And I think that's the mindset he attacked Dr. Russell with. And Dr. Russell didn't break under pressure, because that woman is built by pressure. She's done everything in the world. She does Equis something beer with the most interesting man in the world. They should make a new commercial with Dr. Russell and say the most interesting female in the world. Imagine sitting next to her for a year. When he went after Dr. Russell, he reminded me of a Chihuahua trying to fight a Great Dane. I think Dr. Russell was looking at him like he was an idiot. Sometimes she even said it. I don't understand your questions. And she said it in a way that she probably said it to some of her medical students at some point, because what are you talking about? Yes, actually, that Daubert hearing was a great mistake. He showed his hand. And that's a really big problem, because now they know what to expect from him. They know he will be attacking this, and that. This lady will read any book, his expert witnesses, not because the defense pays her to do it, but I think she'll have a genuine interest and just say, oh, he wrote a book about dog behavior. I'm going to read that. I don't agree with that one. And she's the type of person who will say, yeah, I read his book, and I didn't find it believable, or I agree on that part, but that has nothing to do with this part. And she's one of those those people, and she's instantly likable. That's another thing. An expert battles experts. That's why I didn't understand any of the technical in this case, and every technical. I'm talking about the cell phone, not the ARCA guys. They were great, but the cell phone data. None of these experts should ever be in a courtroom again. They were horrible. Not because they're not great at their job. They're probably some of the smartest people around. Well, I don't know about the sales rep who said his own product from his company couldn't be used without a free program, even though it's the basis of most cases in the world. But they are just bad storytellers. It's kind of like having a YouTube channel. Why do you go and watch Emily D. Baker? Why do you go and watch Beard Meets Food? Why don't you go and watch John Johnson covering exactly the same stuff? Because you like the way they present it. Experts need personality. They need this reaching out, touching you, touching me, sweet experts. Wow, wow, wow. Good times never been so good, so good, so good. Because you need some reason to listen to them. And all of these experts with the hashtags and the hash marks and the whatever they were talking about, no one understood it. I would actually downgrade from Dr. Green and get someone who could talk to the jury. I thought that would be way more. That's Dr. Russell. Dr. Russell is likable. She's the way she speaks. This is going to sound. She's presentable. She presents well in court. She looks like a frail little lady with the greatest life history, and she's interesting. All these tech people were just. I didn't understand a word of it. Judy Bastieri, so nice to see you live stream. Well, thank you, Judy. This is my second live stream of the day, but I woke up in the middle of my sleep and I thought I'm going to talk about this motion because I found it interesting. Not so much everyone knew she was going to say no to it, but more the last part about the possibility for a Rule 14 motion for sanctions, which I think she would grant, not that she would throw the case out, which she probably already should have done on the inverted video, because that shows that's been tampered with the evidence. So you won't get that in this case. But I think she'll be more lenient towards the defense because Alessi, who comes off like an accountant, she listens to him. She's impressed with him. She just hates AJ, and I think it's because he's a big city lawyer coming to Canton trying to be a big. It's not in Canton; it's in Stoughton or whatever it is. Okay, sorry, but she dislikes him because he had a success she never had. But thank you so much, Judy, and I love streaming on all different kinds of days. Whiffen won't be around again. He'll be unavailable. Well, then they will have to throw out all their evidence. No, he has filed a new report. He will be questioned. He wouldn't be around for a Dorbert hearing on, I can't remember what day it was, but they could have. That was no. He wanted. What was her name? I should know facts in this case. Her name is Jessica Hyde. He wanted Jessica Hyde to have an expert battle in a Dorbert hearing, which is not what you use a Dorbert hearing for. A Dorbert hearing is, do you have the education or the skill set needed to talk as an expert? Yes. See you Monday. The other is opinions. Brennan is pretty predictable. He will use everything in VD to impeach Dr. Russell, take it out of context, misquote, and outright lie about it in front of the jury. Didn't you say type of thing? Yeah, but the problem is then the defense can object and say that's not true. And then he will be shown to be a liar. One thing is doing it in a Dorbert hearing in front of Judge Bev. Another thing is having a team yelling objection constantly. Thank you so much. Are you serious? I am serious. No, she's not quick on her feet. No. But I still think she wins in the long run because you see her as the old grandma. So when she gets a little fluffled, you think, oh, it's just like Granny. He is very, very intelligent, and he did something that AJ and Janetti can't do. He made data understandable. I think that was the biggest mistake in the first case was none of these two lawyers were great with the technical stuff. I think that was the biggest crux they had. So having him on to do those cross examinations will be great, because he's a kind of guy who understands what, because you can be a Hank Brennan and learn to say, well, it has something to do with hashtags. And then Whiffen will look at you and say, do you mean hash values? And you say, oh, yeah, sorry. My mistake. And then he'll remember, oh, I have to say that the next time. You can have that surface level of knowledge. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know the American law. I'll Google how long to die in the cold. I'll Google what's a Rule 14. I can read it. I have a mind that can understand it, or I reach out to a lawyer and say, is this that? So I can argue semi-intelligently about something, but I can never do a deep dive, and I can't pick out the parts that doesn't make sense. Alessi is that type of guy for data. And you need that in a case where, if they're going to use this as much on third-party corporate defense again, you need a guy to show where the data is wrong. Yeah, that's the problem, because they never got that chisel in there and broke his story apart. The economics expert in the CNN trial was extremely expensive, worth every penny. Yeah, because I actually saw a little bit of that when he was testifying. But I would turn it around. When I went to bed today, my good friend Alice Norke Cloud was looking at the AHJD case again. And if you go back to that case and put every expert next to each other, you had you had Dr. Muffin, and then you had Dr. Spiegel. You instantly listened when Dr. Muffin started talking, because she could tell you a story. The other guy looked weird. He sounded weird. He couldn't tell you where he had his information from. Just go expert by expert by expert in that case, and you can see what great experts does to a case, because they knew how to testify. Just like Devon in the Dudley Boys. Testify. What was denied? A motion for covering expenses. Yeah, and he was complaining that Mr. Green had spelled Greyforce wrong, and then his own expert did the same. Well, Bev denied it. Well, she didn't deny, but she denied a blanket thing. It's Neto's proprietary brand. No, it's not good. I'll be sleeping in 20 minutes, so it's not that good. Just gives me a little pump to stream. Didn't really need to get a police procedure expert in their defense, so the prosecution can pass the mistake off as not a big deal. Yes. But I think Brandon and I have talked a lot about it. I think, and I said it when the case ended, and I'll probably gonna get shit from a lot of people on this. I thought they spent too much time on the third-party culprit defense. I know everyone loves to talk about, was it Colin, was it Higgins, was it Jen, was it Colonel Mustard in the cupboard with the candlestick? You have the Arca guys. The problem was they didn't really know what the ARCA guys said. You have the ARCA guys. The ARCA guys will come in, put on the table. Physically, it's impossible that he was hit by a car. No way in science can you prove that. If you take out the third-party culprit defense, you won't waste 6 weeks talking about Aruba, Jen McCabe, who played the Weather Girls. You take out all of that bullshit, and you're down to what happened at the bar, who saw her at the house, was he hit by a car? And you don't have to waste all this time of all this noise. What do I know? I'm a stupid baker. I just do this for fun. But I wouldn't go this heavy to try and imply that Brian Higgins did it, Colin Albert did it. Colin Albert was one of these characters that I think confused the jury. He's very interesting for all of us who's spending time looking at who could have done it, why this guy who fell forward and hit his knuckles. But that's not the important part. We are not here to find the real killer. We are here to set Karen Read free. And then justice for John O'Keefe will happen if the police start a proper investigation. It's not the defenses, it's not Matlock. They don't have to find the killer to get Karen Read free. They just have to get her free. And I think by wasting so much time on what happened in Aruba, who yelled Jen, 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 when did Jen McCabe, which she lied about, of course, play It's Raining Men on the stereo, get all of that third-party culprit defense out. And you would have a easier case for the jury to understand. Yeah, and I think that's very important. I wonder if Colin's knuckles are also worth 30 mil like on Rocky Trial. Oh, I haven't watched any of that. I am absolutely not interested in any of that. Yeah, but that won't happen till after the second trial. It's Columbo to Bettero. Well, didn't they do a remake of Matlock on HBO at some point? Yeah, because the defense team can't go after the McAlberts. They can only free Karen Read. I don't like green tomatoes. Ugh. And now we have Higgins butt dialing with his face outside the Sally port. Yeah. Lying to a grand jury. We know a lot of them changed their story from the grand jury to the trial. Now we have him provably lying in court and to a grand jury. Nothing will happen is my best guess. Nothing. Why do we have an ATF agent in, I don't know, how big is Canton? I think it's smaller than the town I live in Denmark. Why does an ATF agent have a permanent office there? He didn't do any work in relation with the Canton PD. Morrissey just gave him, Berkovich just gave him an office because they were old friends. Oh, weird. My theory did have a fight that perhaps he threw the glass at the car, breaking it and the tail light when she drove off in anger. After that, I don't know what happened. I will instantly say you're wrong. Why will I say that? Because the ARCA guys tried your theory and they couldn't replicate it. The glass couldn't break the tail light. None of the glass found on the car matched the drinking glass. Plus, the drinking glass ended up with John O'Keefe on the lawn. That would have been on the road. So your theory, I'm sorry, Chris, love you, girl, but it's not possible. Physics makes this theory totally impossible. Presented in court via state and defense. Nothing in that way could have happened. Hey, expert. Defense opening needs to quote Brennan today, a lie left alone, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. What I can tell, though, even as a layperson, that she did not hit John O'Keefe with her car, so that rules out the vehicular man's homicide, just like the first jury. Yes. They did it with a cannon, but a cannon... The cannon is most likely a big PVC tube with some kind of pressure building device to it, so they can adjust the force, so they can replicate the throwing speed of a man his size. They will figure out how you have a tumbler weighing X. You have a man this tall with this long an arm weighing this. What's the maximum force he can generate, or the glass would be able to generate if he threw it at maximum speed? They will then set the cannon to that maximum pressure and probably even give it like 10 or 15% more power than that, and shoot it multiple times from different angles at a piece of polycarbonate. That's how you do these types of experiments. It's the same you do when you have you can go on YouTube right now and see how they test windshields on planes. They take frozen chickens and shoot them through a pneumatic cannon at the windscreens to see if they'll bust the probably couldn't show that here. No worries, no worries. I just know, because I've seen that argument so many times, that, and I just saw it yesterday. Plevin claimed that pieces of the drinking glass was found on the bumper. No, Lally lied about that it was embedded in the bumper. So it's, yeah. Did you hear that? He said, "You're wrong." I didn't say no. Go back and do your true crime and drink box wine. Don't you, why are you, yeah, the cannon thing is cool. They should have shown video of that. Frozen turkeys because they're bigger. Yeah, but it's still cool to see. Expert, you should show videos on that tomorrow on Friday Night Live. There was one piece of glass embedded. Well, it wasn't. It was laying on top of the bumper that had been driving around and down to her parents and up on the tow truck, which he claimed was from the drinking glass, that his own crime scene expert said, no, it had nothing to do with anything. And that's the big problem. The glass found at the scene, I'm not even sure matches the glass they used at the last bar they were at. And I know they said, well, Karen Reed left with a glass. I didn't see that in the video, because they said she had a tall glass from the first bar to the second bar. When I saw that video, and we saw it a lot of times, I see it as she leaves it at the table near the door. And again, no one saw her being drunk. Oh, she had 9 shots. She had 11 shots. She has 15 shots. No one said she was intoxicated. Yeah. Turkey fries catching on fire tomorrow. Are you having your friend on? Do you have miles per hour? No. I don't. We use real numbers. Yeah, it's kind of like a potato pew pew. Hey, Debbie. Hey, bad dog. You are always chopped liver. Well, expert is over here trying to steal my audience. He wants Fedorowski. I can understand why Fedorowski is great at making movie films about Norway. And he's a hoot and a half in chat. Yeah, but I think that would have been ruled outside of the scope or something. If she was intoxicated, Jen would have been hollering from the treetops. Yeah, and again, she's how big? 80, 90 pounds, and had 9 shots of tequila in 4 hours. I've been partying with girls that small. They're not fun after 9 shots of tequila. Well, I would be at a bar. They would be at a toilet with a friend holding their hair. It's just, again, common sense, friends. Well, the defense can say, can you talk about your methodology? Use his own words against him. They couldn't even rule on the DUI or OUI because the difference was from below the legal limit to 3 times the legal limit or something like that. It was so unreliable, and the guy who did the test never did the test. He was given a spreadsheet where some values was put into, and no one could tell you how they got those values. And DUI guy said he could probably get that tossed in a normal courtroom because they was using the wrong piece of. There's plasma and there's something else in the blood, and they measured on the wrong part of the blood. So he have had the blood test tossed on exactly that before. You have 9 videos. Oh, someone is doing homework. Yeah, see if you can get a free trip to Kansas. See you, expert. Did 7 shots on Sambuca on my birthday over the course of several hours. I'm 5 feet, and I was literally walking on air afterwards. Yeah, it doesn't matter. And again, they never produced any receipts from. Remember when Bev said no editorializing on the videos, and then Bukaki was counting the shots. She's taking a shot there. She's taking a shot there. She's taking a shot there. That's editorializing. The jury is the finder of the facts. They should just watch the video and look down and say, okay. Because I tried to watch it. I had her I had her at 5 drinks. I know Aussie Insider had her at 7. I disagree with that because some of them you can't see what happens. And I even think I prefaced it with I don't know what was in the shot glass, because I have also done that thing where you ask for a glass of Coke. So you'll say, well, I'm just having a rum and Coke. If you had a little bit too much and need some sugar in your system, we've all done it, because your body won't smell your drink. So yeah, I'm still drinking. Yeah, when you come back under the crown. But no, no big surprises in this dismissal. That's I think that's what we have to say. And I think AJ kind of dug his own grave a little bit by admitting they had talked about it. But this was my Baker at night show, normally a 1 hour show that always lasts longer than an hour. But now I'll go back to bed and sleep. You'll probably be about ready to go sit down in front of the TV or something. When we're streaming again, I don't know. If not before then, hopefully Saturday for Stabby Day. I don't know if anything comes up tomorrow, maybe. But thank you for joining me in the middle of my night, in the middle of your evening, in the middle of the morning if you're in Australia. This case keeps on giving me the runs.